You ever thought about moving abroad with your family, but then you have the kind of thoughts of, what if it doesn't work? But then the same thoughts of, what if it does? A year ago, we decided to make the move to Spain. Me, my wife and my 2 kids. So 1 year on, I thought I would do a overview video of just the raw truth of what no one talks about, because we moved for different reasons. Certainly wasn't tax purposes, because I'm paying more tax now than I ever have. So I think it's important for me to just be transparent and honest about this, and the good, the bad, the ugly of the whole thing. So when people move country and they look at their life from a point of view of like perfectionism, especially like the Instagram type life that people lead. We're out here kind of about 20 minutes from Marbella, but even just going into Marbella is like a different land. And that's what I mean when I say Instagram lifestyle. That's not what we came for, hence why we're not in Marbella. We're slightly outside. But the whole kind of first couple of weeks of being here, it kind of felt a wee bit like a holiday. And I think that's the worry that people have, is that whenever they're on holiday here, they think this would be amazing to just live like this, but they don't realise that you still have to settle into life. You have to still have your career, your job, figure out all of the kind of financial implications of it, adjust kind of timings of the kids and bedtime and what eating looks like, get them into nurseries. All of that sort of thing is still a very real thing. And again, it hasn't been like an easy, streamlined process. So once you get over the kind of holiday mentality, it does hit you a little bit. It hits you that we are kind of alone out here. We've had the benefit of the fact that the grandparents are out here relatively often, but you are alone here. Didn't really know many, if any, people out here, and the kind of loneliness can be a real thing, and that's something that takes time to build. Like, chances are, if you've stayed somewhere for, well, I'm 32 this year, so if you've stayed somewhere for 30 years or your whole life, and then all of a sudden that same kind of community or connection of people, whether you even like them or not, is kind of gone, and you are like you're alone as a family. And I think that's something that people don't speak about all that often. So when you move here, there is a language barrier. It's not like moving to Australia or even like Dubai, like everyone speaks English. You have to learn the language. You have to embed yourself into the culture. You have to, and estoy aprendiendo español. I'm just learning Spanish. I'm definitely not fluent yet by any means, but I'm at least trying. So there is that wee kind of lost in translation thing. It's harder to build connections, especially with people who are Spanish. So you kind of have to find people who are maybe doing something similar to you, and we didn't really know where to find them. I'm lucky because I joined like a boxing gym, met people there. I kind of would know the odd person coach from social media and stuff, but it can be lonely. But putting the kids into nursery, you start to meet people. Putting the kids into like swimming lessons or dance lessons or different things, you do start to meet people. You meet people who are not even from the UK, but they speak English, and you're surprised kind of how much you have in common with these people. But I would be lying if I said that it didn't take me a while to settle in. It really did. It took me a while to settle in, and I'd never thought that I'd made the wrong decision, because let's be honest, if you're new here, you won't know, but my work was a lonely place of work anyway. I have an office here in Spain, but I built an office in my house, and the only thing that's kind of changed from that perspective is the fact that it's sunny outside and I'm inside, so I don't need to have the heating on. I need to have the aircon on. So the one thing that I would say is that for your life to really truly change the way that you want it to change, you need to embed yourself into the culture, and you really need to look at what it is that you're wanting out of this. So if I'm in the office all day, every day inside, I'd be as well not being in Spain. So for me, it was really trying to kind of peel myself back from what my work looked like and how I kind of embedded that into my life. And if you're self-employed or you run your own business and you've got the ability to kind of be a nomad, we're on the nomad visa, so that's for another video. Like, if this video does okay and it's insightful for people, you can let us know in the comments that if you want to kind of, for me to break down like how we got here being kind of UK citizens and the nomad visa, the costs, the taxes, how that works, childcare, moving all our stuff in a big truck, all that sort of stuff. Like, I think it's important to, if you are wanting to do it, that I do a video on it, but obviously only if people are wanting to see it, so let us know in the comments. So chances are, if you're watching this video, you're either thinking of moving to Spain yourself, or potentially you're thinking of moving to Spain with your family. So more so the people who are thinking of moving here with a family. It's a very different life to what you would be moving here by yourself. If I was to move, before I met my wife, if I was to move here and be an online coach out here in Marbella, it would be a completely different life to what I'm living right now. So I would be out drinking a lot more, partying. But if I'm honest, I do think the loneliness would be there. It would just look cooler on Instagram. And the reality is, like, we still get up early in the morning, take the kids to nursery, and they're in a Spanish nursery. They're fluent in Spanish. And I think my son doesn't speak really any English, and he understands me when I speak in Spanish. And so I really need to get better at that. But point is, if you're considering moving somewhere, really just having an idea of how you want your life to look. So for me, it was about enjoying my work, not being stuck in the office 24/7, even though there is days that I still do that. But being able to finish work, like if I get this video filmed, hopefully I'm doing today, and go and meet my wife who's just left to get the kids down at the beach and sit, have a pizza on the beach or something like that, and let them throw stones into the sea while you just do nothing. It's about calming down. I think so many people are chasing all the wrong things. I mean, for them it might not be, but for me it was. And I think the reason why we moved to Spain, this is obviously a year on. I filmed a video about a year ago kind of explaining why we're moving, and that's not really changed. The reasons for moving haven't changed. Has there been struggle with loneliness? Yeah, but it's probably no different to when I was back in Glasgow, because in the UK, having working for myself, doing Zoom calls and being in an office, I didn't really see that many people anyway. So for me, it's actually, I don't see myself going back to the UK. You never say never, but I just don't see it. And if this is something you're considering and it's something that you're wrestling with, I shut my gym a few years ago to travel with my wife, but at that time we weren't married yet. But then Brexit and COVID and all that sort of stuff hit, so it didn't make it easy. As a result, we bought a house, had 2 kids, but that itch never went away. So that if this is an impulsive decision, and with ADHD I know exactly what impulsivity is like. It wasn't an impulsive decision, it's something that I really envisioned for myself. It's mad to think that I'm here, and we're absolutely not like perfect or living up. It was the right decision, 100%. I'm still figuring it out, still meeting people, trying to get my own community here of people that I can speak to and trust, and like I have met friends here. But I think it's important that the fact that people understand you basically get a new start. So the people that you maybe spent your childhood with, that if you were to choose them now you maybe wouldn't, you get a chance to like reinvent yourself and who you surround yourself with and remove yourself from that. So I'm trying to be a bit more selective of who I'm speaking to and who I'm surrounding myself with, especially when you go into Marbella. Like, there's a lot of, don't want this to be a anti-Marbella vlog, because Marbella is great when you go for the day, but be prepared for a bit of loneliness, but also knowing that it's a short-term thing and it builds. And have to learn the language. If you come here, you come to Spain, and you don't at least try and learn the basics, I think you're coming for the wrong reasons. This is to embed yourself into culture. What I really like about Spain is that certain parts of it that aren't as westernised, they do have culture. I mean, I don't, but people go for naps during the day, siestas, and I just like the laid-back culture that exists here. And like, for example, I'm sitting here on a Friday when I could be in a dark room in Glasgow and it's probably raining. I'm pretty sure it is. If I turn the camera around, excuse the washing, but this is what I'm looking at. And again, it's not like, this isn't a big fancy villa or house or anything like that, but this is where, for me, it's about take myself away from the rat race of having to do these things, like chasing a better car for what? For someone that you went to school with to see it and go, oh, he's doing all right. Wonder if he's selling drugs. Like, it's just, for me, it really just allowed my brain to settle a bit and figure out my priorities of the way that I wanted to live my life. There's a few things that I've got coming up here in Spain that I can't really say publicly right now, but they're pretty exciting, and it makes me realise this is 100% the right move. So if you do want a breakdown and you've made it this far and you're considering moving, whether it's yourself or your family, you just want a more chilled life, let us know in the comments. I'll answer them. Let us know if you want me to see if you want to see a breakdown. And also, on a kind of unrelated note, if you do want me to help you with the thing that I've been helping people with for 10 years, and that's managing their nutrition, their lifestyle, the ability to have a beer at the beach or at the pub if you're still in the UK or the States or wherever you are, that's exactly what I help people with. Making diets non-restrictive and focus on their lifestyle rather than overhauling it for something that will last 6 weeks. Free meal plan builder down below. YouTube usually picks a decent video for you because the algorithm's a bit scary. So I'll link that up here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.